So YouTube, the political debate. You know, this is the thing about political debates on the campaign trail especially, is you get a sense of the candidates you might get to vote for and what they're about. Now, if each party wants a fair chance at winning, you know, obviously they think they gotta pick their best candidate. But we're still a year away from the entire process, so, you know, it might take a minute. I relit the cigar probably about 2 minutes before, maybe even 2 seconds before I started the video. Yeah, that. We got the lighter just in case we need it, but I don't think we're gonna need it. Actually, that might have been just the right amount. Now, when you're talking candidates here, Donald Trump is... Now, when a person goes bankrupt, when a person files for bankruptcy, damn, that is a good cigar. When people file for bankruptcy, taxpayers' money bails them out of bankruptcy when they file it so they can get back on their feet. Now, Donald Trump is coming from prestigious wealth. Of course, he doesn't want to lose his money. So literally files for bankruptcy 3 times for 4 failed businesses or some shit like that. And does he once say to the people that he's campaigning for, you know, thanks for bailing my rich, retarded, racist ass out? No. Instead, he goes up on stage and brags about how much money his father gave him for a college loan. Now this kind of concerns me, and at the same time, when people ask Donald Trump about minimum wages, well, Donald Trump thinks that minimum wage is too high in this country, and it should be very. Actually, before I continue. Yeah, we got the perfect light on that. That is beautiful. Alright. Now, the reason why Donald Trump says shit like that is because he's rich. He doesn't want to become less than the 1%, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't want to lose his spot in that 1% that he has. You know, the 1% of Americans who have a pretty good tax cuts and what have you. I mean, if you're rich, we're not saying you should pay an extreme amount on taxes, but you should pay your taxes like the rest of us. Okay? Just because you're rich doesn't mean you should be excluded from tax cuts. I mean, that's kind of bullshit. Just so you can turn around and rig the political elections in your favor. You know what I'm saying? And for a lot of politicians, if you're going to donate a huge chunk of money to them because you're part of that 1%, you know, for a lot of politicians, it don't take much for you, if you're part of that 1%. You donate money to those politicians. Of course, they're going to favor whatever the fuck you have to say. If you're giving these politicians their biggest contribution. Now, Donald Trump may be running as an independent because he's so filthy stinking rich he doesn't have to have corporations buy him out. So he goes off on his campaign preaching about being independent and blah 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 blah. And for a lot of blue collar folks here in this good old US of A, that speaks to them because they're part of a union. They don't want big corporations telling them how to work and shit. I get that. But if you think Donald Trump has the union's interest, you're sadly mistaken. Now, the same people who think Donald Trump's going to fix the issues, really he's not. He's going to make it much worse. These people who take to social media and they brag about being a part of a union, and then they criticize people for having a less dangerous job than them. And it's just stupid. They use words like libtard, you know what I'm saying? And a classic post from that type of person on Facebook would sound something like, oh, these fucking libtards don't know real fucking living and blah 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 blah. They're fucking wiping windows for a living, that's not a real job and blah 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 blah. And they get so defensive and hostile, as if to suggest that somebody is attacking what they do for a living. And in their insistence on calling names, they forget that people who are liberal, just because they have a less dangerous job, doesn't mean that they don't have a job. We've all got to make a living at some point or another. But then Bernie Sanders says something, and I quote, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, and something has to be done about it. You know. And then when Bernie Sanders says the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, then you got schmucks like Donald Trump saying minimum wage is too low in this country. Really. Now to the parents of the parents out there, parents these days, who are trying to send their kids to college, you know, and they have a harder time than Donald Trump's parents did. You know, minimum wage is too fucking low. On the offhand chance you have kids and you're trying to work 2 to 3 jobs to make a decent living. And a college is so fucking expensive that, you know, most middle income, lower income kids trying to get grants and shit. And that's basically up to the institutions to give those grants out, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, grants aren't in a kid's favor. Like if a kid's trying to go to college or what have you, sometimes grants aren't going to be an option. But the person still wants to go to college and make something of themselves, okay? And if they can't afford to because of their background, you know, and for all we know, you know, whether they can afford to or not. That's one more person trying to contribute to the future of this country by getting a decent education. Now, you can do some to contribute to the future of this society if you get a high school diploma or equivalent, but that's going to get you bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go the extra step and get a decent paying job, you actually have to go to college. And people are trying to come up in this world by getting a decent education, and they can't afford to do that. Then they're stuck in the same old rut that society has subconsciously placed them in. And I think if everyone had a fair chance at a good education, which would allow them to get a better paying job, I think a lot more people would take that opportunity if they could. You know. It's not just minorities, but everyone of every color fucking goes through these struggles, you know what I'm saying? Every race goes through these struggles of trying to figure out their future, what have you. But if people are making that racist assumption that minorities are lazy because they won't get to college, well, that's kind of fucked, considering a lot of people can't afford college to begin with, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The people who make these assumptions just flat out piss me off. YouTube. Here's Bernie Sanders saying, oh look, maybe we should make college more affordable. And while we're making college more affordable, you know what I'm saying, prescription pills should be easily more affordable. Drug companies should not have the right to jack life-saving prescription pills up so much that people are paying an arm and a fucking leg for decent prescription medication. And most often, if they can't afford the shit to help them, they'll go with the off-brand, you know what I'm saying? So if they have a stomach disease, hypothetical, if they have a stomach disease and they have a drug they can't afford to pay for that helps them with their disease. So instead of doing what they can to get the medication they need, they'll go for a substitute for that medication, which may cure the person of their stomach disease, but give them 10 different fucking side effects that they don't want, you know. Not every drug company is out there to save you. Some of them don't give two fucks if you're in a grave dead and your family's in debt from the medical bills that you've racked up taking their phony fix. Yeah. Now, a simple example of this, and it's an example I use on my channel quite frequently, is if people see you're depressed, or maybe you should go see a shrink. So you go to your fucking shrink, and your shrink tells you the fucking obvious. Well, you're depressed. I want to recommend you see a doctor, and he or she will prescribe you some medication for your depression. All pretty casual, common, nonchalant. Not every antidepressant's bad for you, but you go to a doctor and they recommend you get this antidepressant. And now, because the psychiatrist and the doctor have both recommended this pill, not just nonchalantly because they want to line their pockets with some money, they don't really give a fuck, you know what I'm saying? You go home and you're about to take this pill, and before you take your antidepressant for the first time, before you take this prescribed antidepressant for the first time, you're watching TV and you see an ad for your antidepressant that you're about to take pop on. And the ad you see on the TV says, side effects may include thoughts of suicide. So you decide that against seeing the TV ad, against your better judgment, everyone's telling you you're depressed, you need to get better. So if you're depressed and everyone's telling you you need to get better, everyone tells you, well, take this antidepressant and you'll get better. And you think to yourself, well, the commercial said that side effects were rare. So you decided to chance it, and a couple of months go by, the antidepressants seem to be working, and then you stop taking them, and then you start taking them again, whatever the cause may be. All of a sudden, you hit that snag in the road. Oh, excuse me. And freaking the side effect of thoughts of suicide plays into effect, and your loved one kills themselves because of that nasty side effect. First of all, how in the fuck are you gonna call it an antidepressant if side effects include thoughts of suicide? To me, that just seems like a hypochondriac. Basically, you know, it's a polar opposite, you know. Now, if you had a fucking headache, and hypothetical, okay, just a hypothetical for you. If taking an aspirin made your headache worse, would you take it to relieve your headaches? Now, obviously you wouldn't, because it would be counterproductive. If you're trying to get rid of a headache, and they advertise aspirin as a headache relievant, and if taking it made your headache worse, you wouldn't take it, would you? No, you wouldn't, obviously. And aspirins do work, but 13 aspirins can cause a person to overdose, and that's not good either. So there's got to be some boundaries, and there needs to be more strict guidance and research when Big Pharma is making these pills. Now, because when a pill has side effects, if the drug company that made that pill, if they list every possible and potential side effect or life-threatening disease that can be associated with taking that pill, they automatically make themselves unliable for lawsuit, because, and this is how they get away with it, by one, they have to disclaim it. Legally, they have to disclaim it. So what they'll do is they'll say the side effects or potential life-causing illnesses of the medication in question. They'll list the side effects in the commercial, but usually towards the end when nobody's paying attention, and they'll say it extra fast just to make sure nobody's paying attention. And if you go at them with, my loved one just killed themselves because of your stupid antidepressant, I think you're liable for lawsuit. They turn around with, well, actually, we listed the side effects in our commercial, so suck it. That's corporate America. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Now, what you can do about it is elect politicians who seem to care. You know. Now, Donald Trump says he supports medical marijuana, but he says he thinks that legalization would be a bad idea, which, again, is another contradiction in itself. To support medical marijuana and the rights for it, you have to support it for at least medical legalization. And when Donald Trump says he doesn't support legalization because he thinks it'd be a bad idea, but then turns around and says he supports medical marijuana, like, wait a second, you know what I'm saying? Now, my serious question to you is, would you elect Adolf Hitler as President of the United States of America? And the answer is, of course not. That'd be a horrible fucking idea. Well, if you elect Donald Trump for president, you might as well have just reincarnated Adolf fucking Hitler and throw him into fucking office. Now, a lot of Donald Trump supporters hate it when people compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler. Well, what's the fucking difference? The goofy fucking mustache? Now, Adolf Hitler wanted to put badges on Jews during the Holocaust to segregate and separate them from people who weren't Jewish. And then you look at Donald Trump, who's saying he wants to put yellow badges on Muslims. And the faith of discrimination that people are discriminating against may be different, but it's the same fucking concept. It's disgusting, YouTube. Now, Hillary Clinton is human like the rest of us. One particular political debate, she was a little bit late getting to the political debate because she had to use the restroom. It happens to the best of us. We have prior commitments that we must meet to get by, and to get by in our day-to-day lives, you know what I'm saying? That day-to-day flow of activity. Yeah. Day-to-day flow of activity, you know. And of course, Donald Trump just sits there and fucking insults Hillary Clinton. Calls her disgusting and shit. And it's like, dude, really? You act like you've never had to use the restroom before. Which is irritating to say the least, you know. I don't generally support Hillary Clinton because she's biased and she changes her opinions to meet voters, to meet the political correctness, basically. Yeah. And she's bought out by Wall Street and a lot of big banks, you know. And in the more recent debates, Bernie Sanders called her out on her bullshit. You know, if I was a political candidate running against Hillary Clinton, and if I had a big debate with a crowd full of people, and my question to Hillary Clinton would be, you know, how do you claim that you're going to be tough on banks when the very same banks are giving you campaign donations? You know what I'm saying? And some people might say that, well, yeah, well, Bernie Sanders has gotten political donation. Yes, he has. And 95% of political donations that Bernie Sanders has gotten has come from people who vote in the elections, the American people, you know what I'm saying? And the other 5% is coming out of Bernie Sanders' own personal back pocket. And Bernie Sanders isn't some rich fat cat like Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? So you have an independent running for the Republican side. And Donald Trump isn't independent because he has enough money. He doesn't need the American people to fund his campaign. You know what I'm saying? And Donald Trump is so fucking stupid. It's unreal how stupid he is. Donald Trump's campaigning in Iowa and says how he loves the people of Iowa. And then in another state during his campaign trail, Donald Trump says, how stupid are the people of Iowa? Okay, you don't believe me. Okay, I might have to use the internet to aid me in my effort here. So we'll go to Firefox and let's see, Steve and Colbert destroys Donald Trump. Ho ho ho. And there's the most obnoxious ad on the planet. Give it a second, and it should be good to go. Okay.
Congress likes him. Nobody likes him in Congress likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
Okay, so no one likes Ted Cruz. Mr. Trump, a rebuttal.
I really do. I like Ted Cruz a lot.
Okay. All right. Right out of the gate, there's a strong difference of opinion between our one candidate. Okay, the next question is for you, Donald. How do you feel about the people of Iowa and your chances with them?
I love Iowa. We've done really well here.
All right, fairly stated. Mr. Trump, your thoughts?
How stupid are the people of Iowa?
We will find out on Monday. Now, gentlemen, if either of you win this nomination, you're likely to go up against Hillary Clinton. How do you assess her foreign policy experience?
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Worst in history? Huh. Mr. Trump, your thoughts?
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I mean, I'm a little biased because I've known her for years. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job. And I like...
Okay, Democrats. If Republicans are stupid enough, and I mean absolutely stupid enough, to elect Donald Trump as a Republican nominee, and if you want a fair chance, Democrats, if you want a fair chance at beating Donald Trump, if he becomes the Republican nominee, you gotta elect Bernie Sanders, man. Like, I'm not just saying that because I support Bernie Sanders. I'm saying that because I'm being for real. During the political debate where Bernie Sanders, a member of Hillary Clinton's own supposed party, when Bernie Sanders started getting more aggressive towards Hillary Clinton in the political debates and calling her out on her shit, she couldn't cope with it, man. She was at a loss for words, basically. So, yeah. Of course, this video was posted over a month ago, and polls can shift within a month. Nationally, I see Bernie Sanders actually leading the polls, so that's good. Despite what the media may say.
That is a strong endorsement of Hillary Clinton.
And I like her.
That is a strong endorsement of Hillary Clinton from Donald Trump. That's gotta hurt her in the polls. Now, for this next portion of the debate, we're gonna go and take questions from everyday Americans who are watching. Our first one comes from a Megan K, who lives in 2011. Megan, what is your question?
Do you really think that you're a better moderator than I am?
No, I could never beat you. That wouldn't even be close. There would be no contest. You have done a great job, by the way, and I mean it.
That's a very positive message. How about you, Donald?
I have zero respect for Megyn Kelly. I don't think she's very good at what she does. I think she's highly overrated.
Now, I must warn you, sir. I must warn you to be careful, Mr. Trump. In the past, when you've turned against a woman that way, she ends up with half your assets. Now, Donald, if you yourself are elected, who can we expect to see in your cabinet?
We're going to have the smartest, the best negotiators in the world, and I know most of them, and believe me, I know people you never heard of who are better than the ones that you did hear of.
That is an impressive list of no information. Now, I'll give you a chance here, Mr. Trump. Who do you have in mind for your cabinet?
We can own this thing.
Mr. Trump, it is nice to see you finally reach out to a person of color. Well, all right then. Donald, thank you so much. It's been a great debate. It's been a great debate, Donald, Mr. Trump. I want to thank you both for being here tonight.
Okay, y'all didn't see that. When Stephen Colbert said, "Who do you have in mind for candidate for the cabinet, what have you?" and you see Donald Trump wrapping his arm around that purple motherfucker from McDonald's. Then Stephen Colbert made that comment, like, ouch. That was,
For your final statements, you each have 5 seconds. What is the one thing you would like the American people to know about you?
Believe me, I understand steaks. It's my favorite food.
And may I say, sir, you are yourself impressively marbled. Mel, Donald, your final statement.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Voters do like a family man. Well, that concludes the Late Show's 2016 Top Tremendous All-You-Can-Trump Luxury Presidential Debate. I want to thank Donald Trump for being just as divided as this country is.
Yes. $49 views on how to light a cigar. 3 likes, 1 dislike. The majority likes it. Yeah. Hillary Clinton's just the same as Donald Trump when it comes to, Donald Trump basically said how he loves Iowa and then turns around and talks shit about them. On the issue of gay rights, Hillary Clinton's no different. Back in the day before it became legal for gay marriage, Hillary Clinton said she was against it because the polls weren't as PC as they are now. And now Hillary, excuse me. Now Hillary Clinton just suddenly out of nowhere says that she supports it because she's changed her mind or whatever. Which would sound convincing, except she's done this on a number of issues. YouTube. Now, don't get it twisted. I think it would be awesome if a woman became president, just not Hillary Clinton. No. No. This is the kind of cigar you have to bite down on it just a little bit. Yeah. Now, how is Hillary Clinton going to be tough on the very same establishment that funds her campaign? Hillary Clinton claims to be tough on establishment. Yeah, right. Hillary Clinton is so pro-establishment, man. Another reason why I don't like Hillary Clinton is because through most of her campaign trail, every speech she's had, she's used the chance to bring up 9/11 in her speeches. One of Hillary Clinton's speeches, and I quote, she says, I was there when 9/11 happened and it was good for the economy. Okay, Hillary Clinton, please explain to me how an American tragedy like 9/11 was good for the economy. Now, I've found 3 separate articles online for a combined total of, and I say this, a combined total of 96 separate studies that proves that cannabis can be used to treat and or cure cancer. And when you ask Hillary Clinton about cannabis, she goes, I don't know if you've done enough research on it to prove anything. Really? Hillary Clinton says we haven't done enough research to prove anything. Is 96 separate studies isn't enough, and I don't know what is. And on top of that, here's an unfortunate statistic for you. A lot of brave men and women who risked their lives to save people from those burning buildings on 9/11 actually have cancer as a result from the heroic acts that they endured. So, I mean, if marijuana cures cancer, these people should be getting it ASAP. Risking your lives on a tragic day to save some people's lives, you know what I'm saying? If Bernie Sanders becomes president, he legalizes pot, all of a sudden our country has a shit ton of disposable income. Oh, there's the money right there. That alone, okay, would be enough money to help the next generation have a more affordable college education. You take the money you make off of tax revenue from cannabis and you use that to make college more affordable for people so they can afford to get a decent education. Now, you talk to Americans in this country where there's no fucking jobs, man. Or like in Wyoming, for instance, in good old Wyoming, where the oil's going down, and when oil goes down, the based goods go up. And on top of that, you got the fucking meth labs in this town. Sick and tired of the meth labs in this town. How long before oil keeps going down before Wyoming opens up its eyes and says, surprise, surprise, we gotta legalize. Now, Wyoming's a pretty rich state. We got the oil, we got the salt, we got the coal. You know, but then coal plants start getting shut down. Oil starts going down. People start losing their jobs, and that's not good for the economy or for the hardworking men and women in the awesome state of Wyoming. And in many other states like Wyoming, where you rely on natural resources to fund your economy, and if those natural resources start taking a cut, then people start losing their fucking jobs. Legalizing cannabis creates a whole shit ton of new jobs, and it pumps money into your state's economy. Not only that, both cannabis being medically, or at least medically decriminalized, and then eventually completely recreationalized for recreational use, it allows cops in your city and in your state to focus on actual fucking crime here. You know, catching rapists and meth heads. Some dude's having a long day, gets off of work, decides that, you know, drug laws or not, they're gonna smoke a little bit of bud after a long day of work. How is that any fucking different than somebody going, you know what, a beer sounds good after work? Marijuana cures cancer. Our founding fathers used hemp paper to draft the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. But in states, okay, in states like Wyoming, if you get caught molesting a child, you get 8 to 10 months in prison and you're out. And you have to register. You get caught dealing drugs in Wyoming, that's an automatic 10-year sentence. Where's the fucking justice in that? And the reason why a lot of cops will pursue marijuana busts and a lot of feds and what have you is because the very little amount of money that the feds make off a drug bust, they automatically give a 5% cut to states where it is illegal to possess, smoke, and sell and grow cannabis. Now, if cops are getting a 5% on their fucking quota just to bust potheads, if they're getting more money to bust potheads than they are actual fucking crime, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, the motive's going to be to make money. You know, some of these cops are probably good cops, trying to make a living, and some of these cops cops are probably in favor of cannabis legalization, but because their job requires them to be tough on it, even though they support it, they're going to be like, fuck, I gotta pay bills. And increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour would be a good thing. Then people with lower and middle income class families who are working 2 to 3 jobs trying to make a living for their family and trying to make some money so they can send their kids to college so the next generation can make something of themselves, you know what I'm saying? The only reason Donald Trump says the minimum wage is too high in this country is because fat cats like him don't want to see a minimum wage increase because they don't want to lose their money and their economic status and the rich and high class social circles and what have you. And it's disgusting, YouTube. And people quite often are too blinded by certain things. Donald Trump, the kind of person that's not afraid, okay, he's not afraid to speak his mind and say whatever retarded thing comes into his fucking head. A lot of people like that of him because that's the only thing they can honestly say they like about him is, oh, this guy, you know, not afraid to say what he wants to fucking say. But outside of that, if you examine it from a political standpoint, all things aside, Donald Trump calls himself a businessman, yet he's gone bankrupt 3 times from 4 failed businesses or something like that. Do you really want somebody like that trusting the economic responsibility of this country? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Now, some of you might use that argument to say, well, maybe if Donald Trump's gone bankrupt several times, maybe he's learned from his mistakes. Yeah, okay. You want to say that? Say that. But Donald Trump is so fucking racist, and honestly, I don't want somebody representing my country to be a racist, okay? Now, when I say my country, I don't mean I physically own this country. I mean I was born in America. And I don't want somebody representing America to be a fucking racist. America, after all, is the land of opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what ethnicity you are. You come into this country legally to make a decent living and contribute to this country. You know what I'm saying? And you're an American. You know what I'm saying? And then you father and mother kids who were born in this country. All of a sudden, you're raising a whole new branch to your, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you're raising a whole new branch to your family tree to grow and prosper in an otherwise very wealthy country. You know. And people will often criticize and say, well, our government can't afford to make college more affordable and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but our government can afford to waste trillions upon trillions of dollars for a useless war in Iraq. Yet they can't afford to give us cheaper or more affordable health care and cheaper prescription pills that are life-saving drugs that aren't going to fucking rob us of an arm and a leg just to save our lives. If people can afford to pay for prescription pills that save their lives, then they won't have to go to a cheaper alternative that'll give them 10 nasty ass side effects they don't want for one fucking issue. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? What do you do if your cigar starts to fall apart like that? Pretty easy. The little section comes off. It's no worries. Towards the end of your cigar, though, you don't want it to break. This is the butt from one of my other cigars that I had. If you could smoke your cigar butt down to something like this, then it's a good cigar. Finish your cigar and keep going with the political bullshit here. Not necessarily political bullshit, but giving you my opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? And you're entitled to disagree with me all you want. You're entitled to your own opinion. But you cross-examine some of this shit going on, and you'd have to be a complete idiot not to see the bullshit going on beneath the surface. Now, rich, greedy drug companies that make prescription pills that are labeled as antidepressants, the very same antidepressants that have thoughts of suicide. These greedy, crooked motherfuckers are going to pay politicians big money to rig the election. And these companies that make these antidepressants that have thoughts of suicide, these kinds of people do not want to see cannabis legal because they would lose money. Because if a safer alternative to those pills was available legally, they would lose money. Boo fucking who? If you're a drug company and a prescription company, technically it's your job to help people and make them healthier, not worse. But if your sole interest is making people worse just so you can make a quick buck, that's fucked up. And that's not the kind of core values this country was founded upon. But as I watch the political debates, both Republican and Democrat, I noticed that Republicans, they've elected some real nut jobs for the Republican Party this year. I tell you what. Okay, if you're going to attack your opponent during a political debate, doing so by calling them out on their bullshit is one thing. But blatantly insulting them is completely different. Okay, I don't want to hear what your personal opinions are on your candidate that you're running against. I want to hear about what you're going to do to fix the issues. Okay? Now, I have a whole year, YouTube, a whole bloody year before I can vote for the next presidential candidate. And so far, I'm convinced I want to vote for Bernie Sanders. There's still plenty of time for other candidates to change my mind, but we need a political revolution, YouTube. We really do. Yeah, this cigar is getting to the end, but we're going to get every last bit of it as much as we can here. Once you master the art of smoking a fine cigar, you'll find that no matter with what cigar you have, you won't canoe. So if you're going to get into cigar smoking, start off with like Black and Milds, just because they don't canoe as easily as the bigger cigars do. They're easier to evenly light. And they're not as expensive, so you won't break your wallet getting into it, you know what I'm saying? And that way, cigar smoking is not for everybody. If you buy a $1 Black and Mild cigar, smoke the entire thing, and go and decide that cigar smoking is not for you, you know what I'm saying? At least you're not spending $5-6 for a damn good stogie, and then going halfway through it going, "Whoa, this is kicking my ass." I don't, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, I got an inspection coming up next week, and rather than go job hunting, I've been more focused on getting my apartment extra clean, so I'll make a good impression on my landlord when I have my inspection. And even though my landlord is thinking about going zero tolerance on smoking in the apartment complex, like no tobacco smoke whatsoever, she said to me that you can still smoke in the apartment, just keep the ashtrays empty and keep the ashes off the floor. That's fair enough. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? No. But back to the political opinions. It's still very early, enunciate my words, there we go. It's still pretty early in the campaign trail, and both parties are definitely running a tight-knit campaign, you know. But don't vote for somebody just because they're well known for their fame and their name and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Actually vote for somebody that you think is going to make a difference, YouTube. Oh boy. Yeah, it's starting to fall apart a little bit. Take that first layer of paper off just like that. It's still going though, so it hasn't fallen apart completely. Sweet. Now you can see that if you can master the art of lighting a good cigar, even towards the end, you will see that there's no canoeing whatsoever. And most people will put their cigar out at this point, but there's still a couple good drags off of this bad boy yet. Oh, the flavor on that Robusto cigar is dynamite. Even towards the end, it's a delicious finish. And if you truly support Bernie Sanders, then on election day, you go out there and you make your fucking voice be heard and you vote for him, goddammit. If every supporter that supports Bernie Sanders that is legal to vote in this country goes out and votes, then Bernie Sanders actually stands a fair chance at winning. But if you combined the 30 minutes plus minutes from the last video plus the 54 minutes in this video, it'll take you an hour to finish a good cigar like this. Easy. There is no pulling it out of the pack on a smoke break at work, and you know what I'm saying. that's getting harder and harder to pull from. Yeah, buddy. I would pretty much consider this done, so tap out the cigar butt here in the ashtray, just like that. And a general tip on keeping your ashtrays clean is, I know it's common sense, but obviously don't dump your ashtrays into the trash can until every last bit of ash and what have you has been extinguished. That way you don't risk starting a fire and shit. But it's like I said, YouTube, we have a whole year yet before we get to decide. So that gives you plenty of time to figure out who you're gonna vote for and shit. Now, a lot of people might say that their vote doesn't count, so they don't go out and vote. And that's precisely the reason why the candidates you want in office don't get elected. It's because you think your vote doesn't count. That's straight up the truth right there, YouTube. Well, I do declare that was quite a tasty cigar. The finish on that cigar was exquisite. Although, let's say you don't want to get into black and mild cigars, and you never actually smoked a cigar, and you want to try cigar smoking, then if you go to your local cigar shop and ask your local tobacconist what's up, you know what I'm saying, they'll give you a good recommendation for lighter cigars that will taste good, but they won't knock you on your ass completely, but they'll still give you, you know, a nice beginner's enjoyment, hopefully. But yeah, with your darker colored cigars, like the Robustos, they have a darker body on their cigar. They're a darker brown, which generally means that the cigar is going to be hella fucking strong. Like nicotine, flavor, everything, the whole 9 yards. I would not consider myself an aficionado, but a connoisseur of sorts. And in my connoisseuring days of fine cigars, I generally like the heavier bodied cigars. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you right now, if you're enjoying a good cigar and it's kicking your ass a little bit, don't be discouraged about putting it out. It's just an awesome cigar to enjoy when, you know, you've regained some consciousness from it. Just little bit of water to wet my lips, so to speak. It didn't dry out my mouth completely, but you know, smoking a good cigar afterwards, you want something to and if I had some Tennessee honey to go with that cigar, I would be sipping on that, but I don't, so I'll take what I can get. Well, anyway, this is KingCobraJFS with another video sharing with you my political opinions. And I thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you all later.